yes, town, yes, eh. City, city. Town, yes, eh. Get on the combi in the morning as the new day is dawning. From Highfields to Harare, Mangwanani, Zimbabwe. Moving through roadblock after roadblock, corrupt cop after corrupt cop. As we pass the homeless on the streets, combi blaring Sewe beats.
So we started Magamba in November 2007, and the idea was to use arts and culture in the struggle for positive social change in Zimbabwe.
City, city, town, yes, eh. City, city, town, yes, eh. Said it's a struggle, but yo, we love this place. It's a struggle, but yo, we love this place.
It was a coming together of ideas about what we were going through and the lack of expression that people were facing at the time. So what we wanted to do was create a podium for people to actually express themselves and also try and work out like feasible solutions in an artistic manner.
One of those.
My meetings, they don't shift us direct because sometimes we're all at different places.
And this is just me expressing myself, and this is how I do it. Now,
who's next on the microphone? I guess it's me. What's my name? UPMOST.
I've got the team that they call Mashoko. I can keep it moving like that. Ndipe oko, dorovera ipapo, right there, chipoko, chikauya totora totanga kuvaisa izozo.
We run outreach in the townships where we have got the Mashoko youth clubs, and through the youth clubs, it's all about empowering youth in the townships and the poorer communities to become autonomous community activists, using community media, using cultural activism, different ways of empowering themselves and opening up space in their communities.
1, 2, 3, make some noise! Yeah, I feel it. Okay, Maniraga, greetings everybody. Welcome to the Shoko International Spoken Word and Hip Hop Festival, brought to you by Magamba Cultural Activist Network. Make some noise for Magamba. Show some love, people. Y'all throw your L's off in the air. Now this right here, this crazy session, this crazy, energetic, rowdy, rebellious, revolutionary, poetical session, right? Is the Slam Poetry Express.
On that day, poetry will not be enough. In fact, it will be unnecessary, for the very toes on her feet will scribble odd pieces in her path. Her veins will become a new form of vocabulary, and her breath will speak into existence the fantasies of her childhood.
I find it easier not to exist in this world of mass media constructed images of a kind of beauty which most of sub-Saharan Africa seems to lack, which means a darker-skinned ethnic sister like me is pretty much non-existent in the eyes of the global machine, except as the stereotypical victim of poverty.
He had arrived on the planet in dangerous times where masses were blinded by these liars faking the rhyme. So began his journey like the ancients, known as the griots. He met imprisoned minds and he chanted rhymes to free those. It was long since he had met a clan of his peeps, but today he could hear beatbox in the east. There were 6 masters in a circle and each spoke free, tapping into this realm that they had breached. One man covered his mouth as he gave him the beat. So he approached and said peace, and he started to speak. The ancient ritual of the cipher was complete. Each was celebrated because every style was unique. They lost track of time. It lasted 3 hours or more, but they were stronger now, replenished, not tired at all.
We aim to give them the skills to what we call it organize, perform, report. So they're more well-rounded activists and breaking down those barriers between, arts, media and activism, so that they can expand democratic space in their communities through organizing very vibrant youth events and cultural events.
We were trying to provide the alternative to the means that we were already pursuing as a nation when it comes to the situations that we were facing. The different kind of outlet, that was both entertaining and educating at the same time.
Man, I come through and I'm demonstrating sorta like a demo you seen in the city, but I don't want the police cause that sight is not pretty. Man, I talk about, do you have clearance? What you doing? Oh, you can hear this? I'm sorry, Mr. Officer, I don't want no problems. If we got a problem, I hope I can solve them. Still representing like...
Shoko has done a lot for me. When I started, I was that young in terms of music and poetry, but we've learned a lot during the years. This is the 4th year since I've joined Mashoko. We've done a lot of things with Magamba and Mashoko, and I've learned a lot. I've grown in my poetry, I've grown in my music. I've also learned how I can actually start to use my music and my poetry to actually conscientize and give a better message to the people out there so that they can know what I'm going through or what I feel like talking about to the community.
Cause you wanna chain me, you wanna contain me, you wanna chop off my head and debrain me. You want me to develop your yes comrade mentality, all in the name of your supposed unity. Well, listen, Shamari, my one desire is to be free. So though you control the police, the army, the media, the TV, and most society, you can't control the heart of humanity. You can't control desire for equality. That soup reverberates within me and every single Shamwari in this country. Cause you can beat our bodies, but our minds will be free. Said you can beat our bodies, but our minds will be free. Said you can beat my body, but my mind will be free.
I know personally I was too scared to talk about anything. But you get to see people like Utmost. You get to see people like Biko, you know, outspoken, Fatso, and they kind of just speak the truth. They speak what's on their mind.
I wanted to be a verbal artist because I've got love for speech, but money talks and I can't afford the pleasures of such luxuries. So I remain mum, like others in the place I came from. Now tears have replaced the liberating words I gave up. So should I remain dumb and just accept and open my mouth to recite new words in the form of slogans? Why should I rejoice a new voice if I don't own it? And why do I have this inner voice if I can't expose it in sound?
That in itself has caused a mini revolution, and I know revolution is a really big word to use, but I think it really has caused a mental revolution where you find people are speaking out a lot more, and because it's such a safe place, people aren't so scared to talk about what's on their mind.
I think right now is a very key time. It is somewhat a transitional period, a transitional phase, where organizations that are fighting for democracy and for social justice need the assistance now. Otherwise that change won't come. I think the time is now to start laying the foundations and doing that groundwork and supporting a lot of the organizations here that are doing really great work, sometimes with minimal resources, but with a great vision of expanding the space that we have now and not letting us fall back to where we were, but to take us beyond where we are now to a space of freedom and democracy.
Right here, right now. The revolution is right here. The revolution is right now. The revolution is right here. The revolution is right now. The revolution is right here. The revolution is right now. The revolution is right here. The revolution is right now. The revolution is right here. The revolution is right now. The revolution is right here. The revolution is right now. The revolution is right here. The revolution is right now. The revolution is right here. The revolution is right now. But a revolution fought in the physical is a senseless battle, like a man trying to capture the essence of his own shadow, trying to measure the volume of darkness. What good is peace when you contain an inner rage that you unleash? With those bloodshot eyes, you shout for freedom on the streets, but you're not gonna get it by clashing with the army and police. You live within these laws that prehistory dictates, then you cannot be the future, for yours is a similar fate. You see, the gun never achieved freedom, it just left an illusion of peace as the mass was silently bleeding. It is time for you and I to regain a forgotten place. Tap into your spirit and unleash your God stage. Echumaringa is a spiritual battle to master self, not one to see all of your enemies burn in hell. So I seek no revolution but restoration of my being. And this world is what is, determined by how you see it.